Pop-up text is huge on TikTok and Reels because it's punchy and readable, making your message really land. I'm going to show you the simplest drag-and-drop way to nail that signature pop effect right inside Premiere Pro. We'll cover the quick manual method first, and then I'll share a smarter workflow for when you need to crank out tons of clips quickly. Spoiler alert, getting that high-volume workflow way easier with a tool like Vizard, which I'll touch on later. First, open your sequence and make sure the essential graphics panel is visible. Grab the type tool and manually type out the first few words of your line, like "oh my god" or whatever fits the moment. The go-to font for this popular style is that chunky, playful comic or Comica style font that everyone seems to be using. Double-check that your text layer is perfectly centered within your frame. Next, you need to add a stroke to make it pop, so jump into the settings and enable that feature. Use the color picker to select a stroke color that contrasts sharply with your footage, and then crank up the size until those letters look bold and super clear. To quickly make more text layers, hold down Alt on Windows or Option on Mac and just drag the existing layer to copy it fast. If you need those text clips to be shorter, just trim the in and out points directly on the timeline or use the ripple trim command. You can also easily drag those copied text layers around in the timeline to adjust the timing relative to your voiceover. Okay, the text looks good, but now for the magic. How do you get that signature pop-up animation everyone loves? The secret method involves opening your effects panel, searching for the word transform, and dragging that effect onto your very first text clip. In the transform settings, you must uncheck Use Composition's shutter angle, and then crank the shutter angle all the way up to 360 degrees for smooth, snappy motion. Now, start animating the scale property by adding your first keyframe right at the beginning where the scale value is set to 0. Move forward just a few frames and set the scale to about 150%, which creates that intentional overshoot that gives you the pop. A frame or two after the overshoot, set a final keyframe at 100%, which is the natural resting size of the text. That quick motion sequence, going from 0 to 150 and settling back to 100, is what generates that satisfying pop effect everyone looks for. If the animation feels too quick or too sluggish, simply nudge those keyframes further apart or closer together to fine-tune the speed. For a less robotic feel, right-click the keyframes, select Temporal Interpolation, and add some ease so the movement is slightly more organic instead of a hard linear jump. Once you've nailed the look, you don't want to repeat all that work. So go back to the Transform effect, right-click the effect name, and choose Save Preset. Name your preset something memorable, like Text Pop-Up, so you can instantly recognize the scale overshoot animation later. Now you can simply drag that saved preset onto any new text layer and immediately get that identical, perfect pop animation without redoing any keyframes. Here's a pro trick if you want all your text blocks anchored to the bottom. Don't move every layer individually. Instead, highlight the layers and choose Nest. Once nested, you can move that single sequence exactly where you want it on the screen, and all the text elements will follow while keeping their internal timing locked. That's the core technique. Set it up once, save the preset, and then drag and drop for instant, uniform pop-up text on every single cut. This manual then preset method is perfect for a few clips, but if you're trying to post daily from long-form content, this becomes a serious time grind in Premiere alone. You could go the After Effects route for more advanced looks, or you might consider buying a pre-made preset pack from a creator marketplace. However, After Effects has a steeper learning curve that eats up production time, and paid preset packs cost money while still requiring you to apply each one manually. Here is the genuinely better workflow that professional high-volume creators are adopting right now. Start by running your raw, long-form footage through an AI editor, specifically one like Vizard, that is designed to find the most viral potential moments automatically. Vizard surfaces the clips most likely to perform well, saving you hours you'd normally spend sifting through an entire video to find just a handful of good sound bites. Once Vizard outputs those perfectly trimmed short clips, you can import them into Premiere and simply apply your saved text pop-up preset to maintain your brand consistency. Because the AI already handled the editorial trimming, you are only left with light styling and branding work, which is a massive acceleration of the process. Even more powerfully, Vizard's auto-schedule feature lets you tell the AI how frequently you want to post, and it will queue up the clips for release automatically. Using the content calendar, you can see your entire week or month of scheduled posts in one view, allowing you to easily tweak captions or swap out a clip if needed. This is the difference between painstakingly hand-knitting every single post versus running a small, efficient production engine that handles the heavy lifting for scale. To be clear, Premiere is unparalleled for precise, custom animation like our pop-up, but it's simply not built to be an automation platform for high-volume clipping. Many other auto solutions only solve one part of the problem. Maybe they edit but don't schedule. or they schedule but don't intelligently pick the best moments. Vizard excels because it bundles the crucial steps: intelligent moment discovery, automated scheduling, and a centralized management calendar. While copying a successful style is tempting, you will eventually plateau unless you inject your own flavor, so use this pop mechanic as a baseline. Try adding a slightly different font choice, a unique color palette, an extra small animation on the second line, or a signature timing tweak to make it unmistakably yours. So the two-step workflow I recommend is: first, use Vizard to scan your long footage and auto-generate the best short clips for editorial selection. Second, take those clips into Premiere only for light styling. Drop your saved preset, nest layers for layout, and then export. Finally, utilize Vizard's scheduling and content calendar features to publish everything automatically without juggling dozens of files. That combination gives you the polished consistency of Premiere animation with the massive scale and automation that an AI workflow provides. I'm not trying to sell you a preset. I'm showing you a method that eliminates the monotonous keyframing so you can focus on the fun part of creation. Go try out that pop effect, make it your own, and if you need to keep up with daily posting, seriously check out the Vizard Auto Edit Plus scheduling system, because it has been a game changer for me. Remember that trends fade fast, so use these tools to stay consistent and quick, but always mix in an element that is uniquely you to keep your audience engaged. Cheers to making more clips faster. If you want a follow-up video with the exact template names I use, let me know in the comments below.